constantly wondering if you should break up.
Let's talk about 10 signs that your relationship is heading towards the end.
There's a moment in relationships that almost no one talks about after.
Most relationships don't end in chaos. They end quietly. You just stop reaching, explaining, and you stop trying. The ending starts within you before it ever becomes a conversation. One sign is silence, not the angry kind, the tired kind. You do not explain your feelings anymore because you do not expect to be understood anyway. Another sign is distance. You feel calmer when you are apart. Closer doesn't feel comforting, it feels heavy. You stop checking in emotionally with them. You make decisions without them in your mind. Your future feels easier when they are not in it. And slowly, you stop hoping it will change or he will change.
Let's talk about 5 signs that your relationship is over. Number 1, which I feel like is most important, you're constantly wondering if you should break up. The person you want to be with forever should be your soulmate, and you shouldn't have to wonder if you want to break up or not. It's normal to have some doubts about a relationship. Obviously, people go through phases, but to, in general, be debating, like, shit, like, should I be in this relationship or not? That's when you kind of know alarms should be going off. Number 2, one of you or both of you is putting in way less effort than from the start. Effort is the one thing that's going to keep you guys together because it shows how much you two care about each other. So if one or both of you guys start to lack it, that's when you know things are going downhill. Number 3, there's a lack of intimacy. This doesn't need to just be through sex, but it can also be through just like basic cuddling and affection and kisses. You are dating someone and with somebody because you're in love with them, not because they're your best friend. Yes, it's important for your partner to also be your best friend. However, if the intimacy isn't there, it's as if they're literally just a best friend, and then why not just be friends? Number 4, one or both of you guys just kind of stop caring. You don't really care what the other person's doing. You're not really trying to hang out. If you guys get in an argument, you're kind of just like, hey, whatever. This is just a big sign that you're just over it, and if you don't care, then that level of attachment and intimacy is just like gone. And number 5, the emotional connection is fading. Again, if you're trying to be with this person for the rest of your life, your emotional connection needs to be so strong. You need to want to talk to them about everything and anything, and you want them to be your support system. And if that's not the case, then you definitely should reevaluate your relationship. It's likely if you're in a relationship and you just watch this whole video, it could be a chance and a sign that maybe you should consider just having a conversation with your partner and just kind of like opening it up. You guys can be mature and communicate what you guys are feeling. Anyways, I have so much more to say about this topic, but I'm gonna finish up my makeup and come back. Let me know if you guys want part 2. And this is the final makeup look. Mwah, love you guys.
Okay, we're gonna get ready. Let's talk about 10 signs that your relationship is heading towards the end. Also, I want you guys to keep in mind this is just my opinion. This is just based off of what I've seen with friends or what I've experienced myself. So it's all subjective, but these are 10 signs that your relationship is about to be done. Also, just remember this is a TikTok. Take everything with a grain of salt. It's not that serious. Number 1 is that he has started being mean all the time randomly for absolutely no reason. In my experience, from what I've seen, is if a girl's boyfriend starts being mean to her all the time and just irritated with every little thing, that is just really not a good sign for the way that the relationship is headed. I feel like they always get mean towards the end. Number 2 is the sex in the relationship stops. I always say if your dog isn't barking, it's because someone else is feeding it. That or the spark is gone, and both of those were pretty bad, so take with that information what you will. Don't I look gorgeous right now with all this powder on? Number 3 is that you stop going on actual dates and that your routine just becomes like boring nights in. And you know, some couples like boring nights in, but I think it's really important to remember to still date each other. When you stop dating each other and trying to impress each other and teasing each other and keeping it fun and sexy, you're not headed for the best direction. My mom always told me if you're struggling to keep the spark alive during like the dating phase, like what do you think married life's gonna be like? Like when you're dating, you guys should be all over each other. Number 4 is pretty funny. I mean, kind of. Number 4 is like he starts slowly giving you your things back that you had at his place. Like, oh, here's your hoodie that you left here, and you know, your hairbrush and that cooking pan that we used one time, and you're like, oh, thanks. He's like, yeah, I just thought I would bring some of your stuff over that was like in my place. I think in my mind, in a lot of ways, that means he's preparing to end things, and giving you your shit back is the first step in kind of clearing you out of his life. And look, that doesn't go for everyone. That doesn't mean every time your boyfriend's like, hey, babe, you left your sweats at my place that he's gonna fucking dump you. But I've seen it happen, and a lot of guys have told me that they've done that before, so I know it's true. Number 5 is you stop communicating when you're having disagreements, because you're just like, fuck it. It sounds like a lot of effort. I'm just exhausted. Like, whatever, I give up. The second that you guys stop trying to like work on your relationship and work on communicating and work on trying to reassure each other or resolve an argument, your relationship's headed for a really bad direction, because I feel like that means you just don't really fucking care anymore. Or that you're just so burnt out and exhausted and like mentally done with the relationship in a way. Number 6 is that the texting and communicating is really dry, or there's just like an overall lack of it. If you look at your texts, and a lot of your texts are just like, good morning, good night, hope you have a great day, and there's like no communication in between, not even any like phone calls checking in, I feel like that's not great. I feel like no sweet nothings, or not caring, how your partner's day is going or checking in throughout is not good. Like personally, I feel like when I'm on the back end of a relationship, it's just like, good morning, good night, hope you have a great day, like nothing enthusiastic going on there. Number 7 is you stop complimenting each other. I feel like complimenting each other just on a daily basis, or even like say you're going out to something or you're going to an event and you're all dolled up and he doesn't compliment you when you spent like hours on your hair and makeup and you got like a new dress on, and he doesn't even throw you a compliment. I feel like that counts as like an extreme lack of effort, and I think that's a sign that the relationship's on the back end, if they're not even fucking complimenting you anymore. I love putting blush on to the point that I just look like a clown. Men will never understand. I just love it though. I love being a little rosy-cheeked clown. Number 8 is you start saying things to each other like, can we just have a good day today? Because every day is fucking shit. That's a really bad one, is you're like, can we just not fight today? Can we just have a good day today? I'm fucking exhausted. Number 9 is that another woman starts to become part of the conversation. If another woman becomes a topic in your relationship in a way that is extremely concerning to you or sus, that's not a good sign at all. Women's intuition is always right. If you're concerned, it's probably because you should be. Number 10 is that if there's a holiday or a birthday, the gift they give you has no thought behind it. They didn't put any effort into it. You can tell that it was low effort, that they don't care, and that they're not excited. I think a big tell-all is like Valentine's Day or your anniversary with them. If they're treating it like it's a chore, it's because it is a chore for them, because they're mentally checked out of the relationship and they don't want to be there. Okay, this is the makeup. She's all done. I have no foundation on and no tan because I'm getting a spray tan this weekend. So I'm looking rather pale and scary, but makeup's good other than the pale, scary vibes. Don't forget to take this video with a grain of salt.
You notice your energy shifts first. You stop bringing things up, not because you're healed, but because you're done repeating yourself over and over and over again. Their words don't move you anymore. Apologies sound familiar. Promises feel delayed. You start enjoying your own company more than relationship. Silence feels safer than the conversation you're having with him, and distance feels like a relief. It does not feel like a loss. So, in your head, you do not imagine fixing it. You imagine being free of managing it. And that's when your relationship feels like it's ending slowly.
There's a moment in relationships that almost no one talks about. After many years of being a couples therapist, I can tell you this is the point that we as couples therapists start to get a little nervous. This is the moment when the pursuer, the partner who normally keeps the emotional heartbeat of the relationship alive, doesn't get loud, they get quiet. This partner, they're the one who says, something feels off. Can we talk? I miss you. Did that hurt your feelings? Because it kind of hurt mine. They're the ones who take the emotional temperature of the relationship, who start the uncomfortable conversations, who try to fix things before they fracture. They're not doing this to nag. They're doing it because they care. They're doing it because they believe in the relationship enough to fight for it. But here's the part that most people understand. That partner reaches out and they hit walls instead of warmth, dismissiveness, defensiveness. Relax, you're overreacting. Can we not do this right now? Or the classic, we'll talk later, and later never comes. They don't leave. They don't explode. They try harder. They listen to the podcast. They send the articles. They're the ones that book therapy usually. They read the books. They ask for check-ins. They try to repair before things get worse. They carry the emotional labor because they want the relationship to feel safe again. But eventually, this is the part that breaks my heart. Something in them gives out. Not in a dramatic, storming out the door way. Not in a I'm done with you kind of way. It's subtle. It's quiet. It's the sound of someone who cared too much for too long with too little coming back. That's what we call a burned out pursuer. When a pursuer burns out, it's not because they stopped loving you. It's because their nervous system finally said, I can't keep banging on a closed door. And here's the part that people miss. If your partner is still naming things, this hurts, I need more from you, can we talk about what's been happening between us? That's not criticism usually. That's hope. That's someone saying, I want us. I'm still fighting for us. You have a partner who's reaching towards you still, even awkwardly at times or imperfectly at times. Please don't shut that down. Lean in. You don't have to fix everything right away. Just get curious. Ask a question. Let their feelings matter. Because when the pursuer finally goes quiet, it's almost never because they're suddenly fine. It's because they can't see a way forward anymore. If you want to understand whether you tend to be a pursuer or withdrawer in your relationship, why these patterns repeat, I have a free attachment quiz in my bio and another few resources for you. You can make some sense of what's happening between you, how to reconnect before one of you burns out.
5 signs your relationship is over. The first one is when you cry and he doesn't care. You crying should be his weakness. And if he doesn't care, if he's just staring at you, or even if he gets annoyed that you're crying, he's checked out, babe. Like, his first instinct as your man and your protector should be to comfort you and make you feel better when you're crying. If he's not doing that, it's over. The second sign is when you feel lonely even when you're right next to him. You can be sitting right next to him, you could be laying in the bed with him and still feel like y'all aren't together. It's a very lonely feeling and it just reminds you that you're not being seen anymore. The third sign is when your communication completely breaks down. Arguments and disagreements used to lead to solutions, but now they don't. He starts avoiding the hard conversations, he starts shutting down, running away from the problem, or trying to act like it's not even a problem. And at that point, he doesn't even care to be understood anymore. He doesn't even care to get his point across anymore. If both of you have stopped fighting for each other, that's not good. It's supposed to be us versus the problem, not me versus you. The fourth sign is when physical touch fades, and this hurts when you realize that it's happening. He's not reaching for your hand anymore. He's not holding your thigh while he's driving. No more random hugs and kisses, no cuddles. He's not drawn to you anymore. Especially if his love language is physical touch and he's no longer gravitating toward you. That's a sign that he's checked out. And lastly, number 5 is when y'all stop dreaming together. When y'all used to talk in we, and when we do this, when our future looks like this, when we have kids, when we go here, and then everything turns into I, when I do this, I want this for me, this is what's best for me. When the language shifts from a shared life to separate lives, that bond is dissolving, and that's not a good sign for obvious reasons. Not every relationship is supposed to be forever. A lot of people, most people, are for a season and for growth and lessons. And I know that's really hard to accept in the moment, and it's so hard to walk away from somebody that you love dearly. Trust me, I know. But it'll be better for you in the long run if you do it now, if you do the hard thing now, rather than waiting more and more and more years down the line with more trauma to unlearn, more heartbreak. Like, just get it over with now, my love. Life is too short to be with somebody who's not making you happy and not treating you the best that you deserve.
These are all of the biggest signs that your relationship is over and it's time to break up. I won't lie to y'all, if you found this video because you were looking up signs it's time to end things or should I break up with your boyfriend, it probably is a sign that it is time to end things with your partner. I just feel like if you're super happy in a relationship, you're not looking up like, should I end things? Is it time to end things? Like, just feeling that way. And if you are searching for the reason if you should end things or not, that probably is the reason you should end things. Another big thing, which was honestly one of the reasons I ended my last relationship, was just because the thought of like him being with someone else or whatnot, like, didn't even bother me. Like, I didn't get jealous. I didn't care. Like, I literally thought in my head, I was like, if I saw him with another person, would I be upset? And when I realized the answer to that was like, I really wouldn't be, I knew that like it was time. Another big sign it's probably over is if you find yourself having feelings for other people, if you're thinking about other guys or other girls and you're like, wait, I think I might like them. What the fuck is wrong with me? Like, I'm in a relationship. It's probably a sign, because I just feel like if you love your partner enough, you are not thinking about anyone else in that way. And I'm not saying that if you ever find yourself like attracted to someone else or thinking someone else is good looking, whatnot, that that's a sign to break up. I'm talking about like genuinely thinking you might have feelings for another person. Like, you gotta end it then. Another big thing is if like hanging out with your boyfriend or girlfriend literally isn't even something you look forward to anymore, and it's something you honestly start to dread. Like, hanging out with them, spending time with them starts to feel like a chore, and instead of like that feeling you used to have of being like, oh my god, I'm so excited to see them, you're literally like, ugh, I'd rather be doing anything else. Like, that's not a good thing. And I would say the last kind of big sign is like if you see absolutely no future with them, if you just know in your gut, like, this is not the person I am going to end up with. And like, yes, you might love them and whatnot, but if you're looking at them and you're like, I could absolutely not imagine myself spending my life with you, I feel like at that point you're kind of just wasting your own time and their time, and you should probably just end it.
This is how I know a relationship is never gonna last. And no, it has nothing to do with whether or not you experience conflict. The first thing is criticizing your partner chronically, especially if they bring an issue to you that they're trying to address and confront you with, and you get defensive and then start attacking and criticizing them as a person. Number 2, contempt. This can be masked around sarcasm, but eye rolling is one of the biggest signs. And for those of you that think that contempt is not a big deal, it is the number 1 predictor of divorce. Okay? That's science. Number 3, defensiveness. Whenever you try to bring something to somebody's attention and they just get super defensive around the whole thing. Now, defensive doesn't always mean that they're hiding something, but regardless, it means that I am unwilling to confront my part in creating some of these problems, and instead I'm going to defend my reasons, my rationale around why I did what I did, and likely they turn it around and attack you. And the last one is very uncomfortable, but it's stonewalling, emotionally shutting down, especially if you have a partner, which you do if you're worried about this. When you stonewall somebody, when you shut down, when you punish them with your absence, your stubbornness, your self-righteous pedestal you've placed yourself upon, you are putting them in an experience of emotional abandonment. And what's interesting about this is those who tend to stonewall usually have an abandonment issue. So they're doing what they don't want you to do to them, to you. Now here's a piece that's quite controversial for couples that never fight. Fighting is healthy. It is a part of a relationship. You need to be able to discuss everything, regardless of how uncomfortable that might be with your partner. Conflict avoidance does not lead to better outcomes. It leads to much more things that you're keeping in secret, that you're building up in the back of your mind. You're compartmentalizing your emotions and building resent or contempt towards somebody that you are unwilling or unable to have uncomfortable conversations with. And the last one is probably going to ruffle some feathers, but not being all in the relationship is a very strong predictor that this is not actually going anywhere significant. And the problem with this and why so many relationships are either failing, not actually working out, or don't get very far is that we have normalized the gateway of infidelity. Right? We've normalized keeping doors open. We've normalized keeping a good relationship with your ex. We've normalized continuing to engage with the opposite sex in private conversations, DMs, and otherwise, instead of respecting your commitment and actually seeing that through. You are never going to go anywhere that is worth going to with somebody else if you have one foot out the door. And the reality is most of you are hypocritical when you say you want somebody to be all in, but you're not all in yourself. Conflict is not where relationships end. It is where relationships grow. It is easy to show up, be kind, compassionate, emotionally compelling, engaging, attentive when things are good. How do you show up when things are hard? Do you follow through on your commitments? Do you honor your word? Are you willing to take responsibility and accountability? Can you apologize? Right? Can you work through things? Or do you need to seek validation and attention elsewhere? Do you run when things get hard? Do you think that the grass is somehow greener because everybody has their own fucking problems? You're just trading one person's issues for another person's issues. The grass is not greener on the other side, as they say. It's greener where you water it. And so if you're experiencing any of these things in a relationship, there is a very strong chance that that relationship is not going to end well unless one of you or both of you commit to actually changing that dynamic.
If you stop hearing from this man 24/7, if he can go days without talking to you, if he can go nights without speaking to you, the relationship is done, sis. The relationship didn't end when y'all broke up. It ended when he stopped choosing you first. And I mean this in the nicest way possible. I really want us women to be self-aware and accountable enough to realize You knew that when that man stopped texting you 24/7, calling you 24/7, y'all stopped being together all the time, that it was ending. Oftentimes, we try to hold on so much to what it used to be when we really should be embracing what it's supposed to be. And that's a word right there, because God will never keep something in your life that is not supposed to be there. And that's a lesson that I had to learn, a hard pill I had to swallow. I've tried to hold on tight to people that I thought would be in my life forever. And whoo, did God show me that they are not supposed to be in your life. Okay? Please don't try to ever force somebody who God wants to remove out of your life. Don't ever try to force them to stay in your life, because God will show you every which way on the reason why he wanted to take that person out of your life in the first place. And listen, you do not want him to do that, because baby, you will end up going through the ringer with your mental health, everything. Okay? So please, when I say men and women, when you see signs of a person not interested in you, just take the L and move on. I know it's hard, but just take the L and move on. You will thank me later.